Hey guys, Joe here with Profit Stack Marketing. This is day 2 of my new YouTube channel videos that I'm providing for you guys to show you my business journey. Started yesterday with just a little bit of an introduction, basically telling you a little bit about what I was doing and where I was going. And this video is going to be a follow-up to yesterday's, which is basically going to go into a little bit of what it takes to start your business financially. Again, whether you're wealthy or not, doesn't really matter, but just kind of letting you know what it takes to start an e-commerce business specifically, and even more specifically with Amazon FBA. I could tell you about the financial aspects of different types of e-commerce businesses, things of that nature, but I'm more familiar with the Amazon FBA side of it, so I can tell you specifically what that costs to get involved into that and what some of the other associated costs are. And you hear a lot from some of the gurus online about what it takes, and some of them will tell you that you could start your business with less than $2,000 and things of that nature. And even though that's theoretically possible, it's not very realistic, not if you're really going to go into this business with a really honest goal of pushing it the way that you need to push it and marketing it the way you need to market it in order to get your products listed and ranked high enough, early enough to be able to continue to afford reinvesting in more inventory and so on and so forth. So also, just a quick note, with these videos, I'm updating my YouTube channel every single day. I'm adding more and more things to it, and so keep following that, and look in the link descriptions below my YouTube videos to look for more information as I'm posting. I'm providing you with my Millionaire book list. Really great books for you to read if you really want to get into a millionaire mindset. I'll be following that up with my own ebook that I'll be providing for free called The Profit Stack. And then on top of that, I'm also going to be eventually providing some webinar tutorials and some instruction, some life coaching, things like that to help you guys out for those of you that are following me along. So follow that channel or my channel. Right down here on the bottom link is subscribe. Hit the subscribe button to keep following and watching the progress. I'm also going to be purchasing a video program, Filmora and Filmora Screen, which is going to be able to allow you guys to see some of the online methods that I use to do product research and things of that nature to find my products that I'm going to be selling in my store and my brand labeling, my private labeling. So follow along. Again, I'm also going to be doing some Adobe After Effects to be able to, make my YouTube channel better, to have an intro. You're actually going to be able to see some of those changes as you follow along with my channel, and that'll be coming very, very soon. So as you see those things, again, comment below. Let me know if you like the changes and all of that. But let's get right to it. So number 1, what you need to start your business. So really, one of the first things you have to do when you're getting into this business is you need to be able to find products. All right, you need to find the products that you want to sell, and you need to pick a niche that you want to get into. When I say a niche, that could be anything like women's beauty products. It could be health and fitness. It could be outdoor equipment and gear, camping, anything like that. And even further than that, you could get into even way more specified niches, like not just beauty, but like beauty cosmetics, or beauty or let's say you're getting into jewelry or something like that, which could be a gated item on Amazon, by the way. But if you get into jewelry, you could do like necklaces that have like frogs or something, like frog necklaces or whatever. That's a real specific niche. But the key is to find a product using merchant words, Google Trends, other ways that you can find really high search volume keywords for items that people are looking for, products that they're already looking for, that they're going to buy every single month. And if you find products that have a real super high volume of being searched for month in and month out, which aren't just seasonal, and seasonal products are fine, but when you're first starting out, you want to find something consistent. So you find something that provides you with a real high search volume, and then you're going to go on to Amazon and you're going to find those types of products. And there's web app and web online resources like Jungle Scout, the web app, and there's a lot of other ones you can use to be able to do additional research to find your products. I use Jungle Scout myself, and there's some other ones out there that I've looked into. Viral Launch. There's some that are out there that give you different types of options for what you're searching for and provide you with some different information. But ultimately, these web apps will tell you how many sales on the average everyone is selling, how much revenue they're making, how many reviews they're getting, It goes into all of this information and tells you on each page, from page 1 all the way down through all the listings for the items that you're looking for, and you can get a good idea of what it's going to take for you to try to get to page 1, because that's how Amazon's algorithm works. Is it ranks you based on your sales volume, organic sales, which are your natural sales, and also by your reviews. All right, so again, that's the first thing you really have to do, is discover the products that you want to sell. And I'm going to recommend to you guys, when you sell your products, find products that you're excited about. All right, don't just find products that have a high volume for you to sell to make profit. That's all good and fine, but at the end of the day, if you have a bunch of random products on your storefront through Amazon, and that you're branding, and we'll get into that later too, I'll talk about private labeling and branding your product, which is very important to your success. When you start doing all of this, if you just throw random products up there, then you're not going to get consistent organic sales and cross sales, and you're not going to get people to want to follow your store and to follow your brand and all of that. You're just going to be a random seller on Amazon. So you need to find something you're excited about that wants to keep you going, and also something that you know that you can market as an entire brand and as a private label that you can push out there, and that you could potentially even maybe one day sell or grow and scale and make like an actual store. It's just online. It's an online FBA store. You could also turn that into an e-commerce store. You could turn that into a Shopify or something, and concurrent with your Amazon FBA business. But at the end of the day, very first thing you have to do is you have to open that up. In other words, you got to find your brand and find your niche and find your products that you want to sell on Amazon. You're going to need to open up a merchant account through Amazon, so you're going to have to pay, I think it's around $40 a month for your merchant account, and that's going to be an ongoing cost for doing business with Amazon. That's just what it is. Okay, on top of that, once you find your product, you need to create a logo, all right, which you can do very, very, very cost effectively at Fiverr.com or Upwork. You can go there and pay anywhere from $5 to $250, whatever you really want for your product, but you don't have to go expensive, especially up front. Once you find the products that you want to sell and the niche that you want to get into, come up with a really creative and a really good logo brand name, all right? And you can even tell the people that you're going to hire through Fiverr or Upwork what you're kind of looking for as far as a logo and things like that. But get a really good logo with a really good brand that you can use to sell multiple items in the future, all right? So that you have that established. And once you pay for that, again, that could cost you anywhere from $5 to $250. And at that point, you've invested less than $300, but you have your logo, your brand, and you have your Amazon merchant account set up, okay? However, when you're setting up your Amazon merchant account, they're also gonna need your LLC. You have to register your business as an LLC if you wanna protect yourself from liability and things of that nature, and you're gonna have to set that up. I recommend very highly for an online business to register your LLC through Nevada, all right? Do it in, through Las Vegas or whatever, but do it in Nevada. Get it through the state of Nevada. That way you have much lower taxes. That's really, really business friendly for LLCs to register your LLC through Nevada. The only other thing you're gonna have to do is also get a registered agent to receive all your documentation, things of that nature. So when you're setting that up, your LLC is gonna cost you around $75 to set that up to Nevada if you do it yourself, which is not hard to do. You just gotta go through the steps. And you'll register your LLC, your product, your brand. Once that's done, then you have to pay for your registered agent out there. There's a list that you can find online. It'll also provide one for you when you're doing your registration through the Nevada state website, whatever that is. They'll provide you with some LLC options for registered agents and so on and so forth, but that's gonna cost you another $50, so that's another $125. Just say roughly, to start everything right now, just to get your brand, your merchant account set up, your logo created, your LLC, and your registered agent, just to start is $500, all right? Which is not a lot, all right? That's to get your whole business going, all right? Just to get it started. We're not talking about social media. We're not marketing or anything like that yet. We're just getting your business started. $500 off the bat. To sell products on Amazon, to do it effectively and to do it right, that's what you need, all right? Number one. Number two, the next thing you have to do after you've got your logo and all of that stuff is you actually have to pay for your product. Once you've done your product research and you've gone to Alibaba or whatever you're gonna go to find your products overseas, or wherever you're gonna get them from, probably China or maybe Taiwan or India, but probably China. You go to Alibaba.com, you find your product, you find your suppliers, you're gonna talk to multiple suppliers, you're gonna go through all your listings. or go through all the products that you're going to want to list. And once you found the one product you're going to start with, let's just start with one, because we're not going to get into the whole chain of you know, duplicating and copying and scaling and all that. For right now, just one product. You find your one product, but you're going to find 5 or 10 suppliers, and you're going to compare and get invoices and find out what it's going to cost, including the shipping. Make sure it's a gold supplier, and make sure they have trade assurance. If you're ever going to pay for your product, you want to make sure that you're paying with trade assurance or through PayPal, and make sure it's a gold standard supplier. And look at the ratings and look at how much history they have selling, how much they've done recently and all of that. And that'll give you a good idea if it's a reputable supplier out there in China or wherever you're buying from. So your product, when you're starting out, most products are going to go from anywhere from 50 cents an item upwards of, you know, $5 per item, depending on what you're looking for and what item you decide to pick. But unless you have tons and tons of money to go into this, again, this video is intended for you guys that need to know how much it's going to start to run your business, to start your business, that don't have a whole lot of capital or profit to start with. All right, so or flexible cash flow. Maybe you have a 9-to-5 job and you got bills to pay, and you need to know, what do I need to start this? Okay, so your $500 initial investment, you found the product you want to sell, you talked to suppliers, you found the supplier you like, and let's just say your product is going to cost you $3 per item. All right, if you buy 300, or let's just say 350 to 500, I wouldn't go less than 350 when you do your first order. So if you start with 500 items and they cost you $3 per item, for example, all right, $3. That's going to be 1,500 bucks. All right, right there. That's not including shipping. You're going to have to pay shipping charges on top of that. If you go air freight or cargo by sea, I would not go by sea for your first order. Get this thing going quick. It's going to cost you more money. But if it costs you $1,500 to create or to produce your product, 500 items, $3 per item, $1,500. You probably, if you're going to go air cargo or air freight, you're probably going to spend another $500 to $1,000 shipping your item. All right, so that's going to cost you $2,000 to $2,500 to get your product to the Amazon distribution center here in the United States, whichever one you end up doing when you create your shipping plan. All right, so you're going to spend, let's just say, $2,000 for a $3 item, give or take, through Amazon or through your supplier in China to get it shipped over. So if you say $2,000 for your product to get it shipped, and then you've paid another $500 for your logo creation, your Amazon merchant account, and your LLC and your registered agent and all that, you've spent at least $2,500. All right. There's also costs involved if you have product packaging. If you want to get that designed professionally, make it look right, you send a template from your supplier to your designer on Fiverr or Upwork. They design the packaging. That could cost you another $100 or $200, whatever it might be. Then you also have your product photography. You want to have terrific photos. Awesome photos when you sell your product. If you don't have something that differentiates your product from somebody else's with excellent photos, something attractive that tells a story one picture to the next with your photos and gets people to want that product and gives them a reason to want to buy, if you don't have that, then you're going to lose right off the bat. So with your product photos, that could cost you, if you have a model or if you have action shots or anything like that, that could cost you another couple $100. All right, photos could be as cheap as 50 bucks just for photos if you have a model included and other things like that to get more creative to make it better. And if you're not doing any of the Photoshop work or anything yourself, that could cost you upwards of another $250. So right there, you're spending around $3,000 for your product, your business registration, your shipping, your merchant account, and your photography, logo creation, and packaging and all that. So just say $3,000 minimum. All right, minimum. Once you have all of that set up, you're going to do your listing. All right, when you do your listing through Amazon, you're going to be doing PPC, which is pay-per-click advertisements. If you don't do PPC, you're losing. All right, PPC advertisements are going to cost you anywhere from $1 to a couple dollars a click or more. All right, could be $5 or $6 depending on the keywords that you're using. And again, this isn't a keywords course or thing right now to explain to you what PPC is, but just know that there are things called PPC advertising, pay-per-click, that you have to bid on keywords, and if those bid high enough and people click on them every time they're clicked on, whether they convert or not, whether there's any conversion or not's irrelevant, they're going to charge you for those pay-per-clicks. So you want really good keywords that do convert, and that has a lot to do with the back end on your marketing and your research and whatnot to sell your product. But anyway, if that is going to cost you, let's just say you limit that to $10 to $20 a day, you're going to have a 30-day launch. Let's say you do your PPC for a couple weeks. For the first couple weeks of your 30-day launch, and your PPC is costing you $20 a day. Well, over 2 weeks, that's another what, $20, $300. So that's going to be $300 over a 2-week period just for your PPC launch. All right, manual and automated, either way you can combine it, but let's just say you limit it to $20 a day and you spend $300 in a couple weeks. So now you're up to $3,300. Then you also have Facebook ads. If you don't use Facebook ads, you're probably missing out on your initial launch at least. That could cost you another $300 your first couple weeks. So now you're looking at $3,600. Then if you combine that, if you do a jump send, which is an email automated distribution, which I absolutely recommend, because as you start getting more sales and organic sales, even though you're going to be doing what's called giveaways, which is going to cost you more, and I'll explain that in a second. As you're doing your sales through Amazon and you start to launch your product and you're getting people to buy, Jump Send will tie into that product listing that you have, and Jump Send will automatically send your customers emails every few days, 3 to 4 emails on after the 3rd or 5th day, and then another email after like the 8th or 10th day, and then another follow-up email. And within those emails, you're going to be able to provide links for reviews, coupons for additional purchases, thank you notes, all that kind of stuff. Just really good follow-up, and that will give your customers more reasons to want to buy more of your products, and also give them more of a reason to go review your product. All right, and the more reviews you get, again, and the more sales you continue to get, the higher up you go on your ranking, and you want to get to page 1. 90% of all sales through Amazon are done on page 1 of every product listing that exists, and 50% of all sales online are done through Amazon. So if you get onto page 1 with your product on Amazon and you launch it correctly and you market it correctly, you will get lots and lots of sales. You'll make a lot of money. Okay, so back to what I was saying before, your total costs now, if you do Jump Send, is going to be another 30 or 40 bucks a month on top of that, just for the basic plan. All right, so that 30. Oh, and your Jungle Scout app, I'm sorry, whenever you're doing your Jungle Scout app to do your product research, that's going to cost you about $40 a month. So between that and Jump Send and your Amazon merchant account, you're going to spend about, let's just say, 150 bucks a month total for all of that. All right, so that's an ongoing monthly cost, which is not a lot in the long run, but just know that up front that you're going to have to spend that. So just for the first 2 months, you're going to spend $300 on that right there, all right? Just to kind of keep yourself going, getting your product launched and all that. So you're at around now close to approaching $4,000, all right? Let's just say $4,000 to keep things simple. That's to get 350 products or units of your product to your Amazon distribution. That's to get everything set up, your advertisements going, and then you're also going to have what's called giveaways. Giveaways are items from your product that you're going to give away to people, either through a massive coupon discount, 97% off, or you're going to give some items to people that are not associated with you on Facebook and not your best friends or family, because Amazon does not want you doing this that way. They want you doing it organically. They will shut down reviews, and they will not give you any credit for sales if they find out, and they're good at finding this out, by the way, that you've been giving away products to just your best friends and neighbors and people that you know. You got to find strangers or people that don't know you well, and if they buy your product, what you do is you offer them to give them a PayPal refund, and you ask them after they get your product within a week or two to leave a review on Amazon, and that helps you boost your ranking because they're leaving you with organic reviews, and actually using your product and giving you a real review and not just one that you bought, although you are giving them away. But the better way to do the giveaways is to do coupon giveaways using your Jump Send, which is the email distribution, and also just providing Facebook ad giveaways and coupon discounts that way as well. All right, you're going to spend a lot of your profit margin doing that, but that's okay up front. Again, you might even lose money in your first product launch getting it listed to page 1, but again, you want to push this to page 1 as much as possible. So already between your giveaways, what you're going to lose in your profit margin, and giveaways don't actually cost you a lot of money out of pocket. They just cost you profit margin on the return, because the money's going to come directly out of the profits from the proceeds when people buy your product. You're losing the profit you would have gotten when they purchased. So just know that you're losing money on your giveaways rather than having to spend extra money. So you're still at about $4,000, although you do still have your Amazon FBA fees. When you sell as an FBA merchant, on top of your $40 a month, every time you sell an item, Amazon takes their fees, which pays for their warehouse distribution, their customer service, dealing with returns. They do all that on the back end for you with your product, which is really nice. But again, just for a small launch, a simple launch of one product for your brand for 350 units, which actually is on the low end of what you want to go with, but for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, again, at a minimum for your first 30 days, it is going to cost you at least $4,000. We haven't gotten into YouTube spend. We haven't gotten, you know, in YouTube, you can do most of that for free with YouTube. We haven't got into social media marketing other than the Facebook ads. We haven't got into social media influencer marketing or spending or whatever, which that's more down the road. There's a lot of other things you can start doing down the road to scale your business and multiply and duplicate your success. But I would start doing that when you start getting more revenue and profit margin from your revenues. All right, when you start having flexible money coming in on the side and all of that. So again, you do need capital to start, guys. You can do it a little bit at a time and get things going a little bit at a time. But if you really want to launch your product and go beyond just the initial stages of research and things like that, you have to have several $1,000s to start, at least $4,000 to effectively start, launch, promote your product and all that. And here's the other thing, one more caveat before I close this video. Even when you start your product launch, all right, even after you started your product launch and your product is selling and all that, if your product takes off like it's supposed to, and you're selling, let's say, plus with your giveaways and everything else, let's say you're selling 10 products a day, all right? If you only started with 350 products and your product is selling 10 a day, all right, there's 30 days in a month, that would be 300. Your entire inventory would be almost gone by the end of the month if you're selling an average of 10 products a day, which is very feasible, very doable. Even let's say it builds for a couple weeks and then starts selling, you know, 10 a day. If your product takes you 3 to 6 weeks to arrive from your supplier from China, and just on a 350 unit order, which is about right, it takes about 3 to 6 weeks for your products usually to get here, depending on whether you do by sea or by air. And even by air, it takes, you know, up to a week or two, depending on what the product is and how much it weighs and all that. But if it takes you a couple weeks or more to get your product here, and your product is going to sell out in a couple weeks, you need to have your next inventory budget ready to buy before you run out of inventory. Because if you run out of inventory of your product, guys, it's very, very bad. Very, very bad. Amazon does not like that when someone is selling and then they stop selling because they run out of inventory. They look at that as a very negative thing. And if that happens to you, you basically have to relaunch your entire campaign. So if you started with 4,000 for 350 units and it costs you roughly $2,000 to launch 350 units plus your air shipping just on that small quantity, then remember, it's not 4,000 now. You really, truly need to have around 6,000 because you need to have your second inventory order ready to go. And by the time your first inventory is done and your second inventory starts selling a lot, you'll have enough money in your Amazon account to be able to order your third batch, which is where you can typically go big, where you go like, you know, 750 or maybe 1,000 items. You do 1,000, now your bulk price on your supplies goes down. Your shipping rate is gonna go down. Even though the amount is higher, your shipping rate will go down, so it'll cost you less per unit because you're gonna probably go by sea. You might do another small order like 250 or 350 by air, and then the rest you'll go by sea, which will save you quite a bit of money. It just takes a lot longer to get here, but you'll keep your inventories in stock until that final bigger order that's cheaper gets here, right? And that's when you start really increasing your profit margin on your product. So again, if you don't have 4,000 to 6,000 to start, you're cutting yourself short, and that means you're cutting corners, and that means you're probably not going to have a great successful launch, and you don't have everything you need to really start with. So my recommendation to all of you is, if you want to start your business and you want to do it right, have high income skills or work overtime or do something with your 9 to 5 and start saving up your money, right? Start with enough money that you can just play with and burn and don't worry about it, and go from there. I'm not a big fan of going into any kind of debt. However, as long as you have a few $1,000s in your account, if you open up your LLC, you can also get a business credit card, which I highly recommend. If you get a business credit card, like a travel card, and later on I'll put some links and so on and so forth. Maybe down here I'll put a travel credit card link, website that you can go to where you can actually apply for a good business credit card once you have your LLC established. And the business credit card will allow you to do most of your purchasing and most of your spending and most of your stuff through that credit card, which you can pay off at the end of the month or whatever. And that gives you more money that you can use to start your business, which is fine. As long as you pay it off. Again, like I said, don't keep racking up debt and going into debt. Otherwise, you're gonna be bankrupt from your LLC. You don't want that to happen. So But the good thing about that is as you spend money on the credit card, you rack up tons and tons of points because you're spending all this money on your business card, and then you start getting free flights to like Fiji and stuff like that. You get free air flights and tickets that you can go and spend and go on vacation packages and all kinds of stuff. So a travel card is awesome when you're using your business like this, because you get to go places and do things that you see other people online doing all the time, and you wonder how they can afford to just go on these trips all the time. Well, a lot of it is because they're spending their business money that they're using on a business credit card, and that's racking up all these points that they can then use to do these trips, and it costs them relatively nothing because of what they've been able to expense on their business card. So again, don't go into a lot of debt, but if you have to use a couple $1,000s to supplement what you have to start your business, go for it. Get it launched. Do it right. Make sure it's right, because the amount of money you can make on return on investment from a little bit of debt on a credit card is massive. And unless you get stupid with debt and you just keep going into more debt, which is what people do in this country like crazy, and I've done it myself, then you can't go wrong with that, right? Or, you know, I could go on right now all day about why I don't personally like the Dave Ramsey thing. If you guys are familiar with Dave Ramsey or Crown Financial, you know, that kind of stuff, or pay off debt programs and all that, there's nothing wrong with them. And from a mentality standpoint, for a lot of people, it does work, at least for what they're capable of in their life. But for people that truly want to build wealth, if you have a 3.5 or 5.5% mortgage that you're paying debt on, and you have a vehicle, and even if you owe a 5 to 8% interest rate on that, which is not great, and if you have other credit card debts that could be even, you know, that's why I don't recommend credit card debt, because their interest rates are crazy. They can, after a year or two, they go up to like 20% and higher sometimes. So that's just absurd and insane. Don't ever do that. But for lower interest credit cards, things of that nature, student loan debts are very, very low on the interest rate. If you're paying debt, yeah, debt sucks and it's terrible, but the best way to fight your debt and to pay off your debt is not just going and working tons of hours and trading your time for money and paying off debt. Yeah, mentally that may be good for you. Maybe you think that's a great thing that you paid off your debt. The best way to pay off your debt is to have high rate of return investments and a business that has a 50, 100, a 500% rate of return that gives you a super high profit margin, that gives you passive income that allows you to pay off the debt like that, all right? Not waiting years and years and years and living like dogs and living on rice and beans and not eating anything and not having a life and letting your children grow up poor with rags and everything. Okay, that's all great and fine. Again, I have nothing against it personally from just a moral standpoint or anything like that, but from a practical business standpoint, nobody that's wealthy that's out there or that's rich got rich by living on rice and beans. Very few people, other than maybe Dave Ramsey, who's getting rich off of you buying his program, right? So there are some people that were in real estate and things like that, that were able to get wealthy, and they started off very poor or whatever. Maybe they were even bankrupt, but the vast majority of people that are businessmen and women that are out there that become very successful and are highly successful at their craft and trade did it by investing into themselves and into their business, all right? And they were able to scale their business to get a high rate of return fast, to be able to use that money to monetize on their own personal capital, their business capital, and that allowed them the opportunity to quickly pay off debt and snowball their debt out of oblivion, so that they had gobs and gobs of money to then reinvest into their business to, again, scale, duplicate, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. You hear that saying, and keep, you know, stacking what I call the profit stack. You stack those principles on top of each other. You stack your business opportunities on top of each other, the different ways of creating passive income, stack those on top of one another, and provide a funnel for yourself of income, of passive income that's growing your business. So anyway, guys, this video has been about 30 minutes long, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Again, down the road, I'm going to have a little bit, hopefully, better show for you guys. I'm going to have a little bit more of a professional audience. Right now, I'm just doing this from my car. I'm about to go hit the gym. And but I wanted to give you guys some information on what it realistically takes to start a business. The realistic goals for you to start your business. And again, you're going to need roughly $4,000 to $6,000. If you don't have $4,000 to $6,000, then you're probably shortchanging yourself, and you're cutting your business opportunities very short to launch correctly. You want to launch right. You want to launch big, and you want to make sure that you're prepared for what's to come. And don't kid yourself when you think that you can do this for just a couple thousand, all right? It costs more than that. It really does. For an Amazon FBA, e-commerce business, and it's even more for other types of businesses. But to do this, to get the passive income you want, to not have to worry about warehousing and inventory stocks yourself and brick and mortar and all that, which is a pain in the ass, guys. Total pain in the ass. I don't want to get involved in any of that. Unless you go into something like that, again, if you're going to do an Amazon FBA, you need about $4,000 to $6,000. So that's what it is, $4,000 to $6,000, guys. Come up with that, work really hard, figure out a way to spend it. If you're not willing to spend it, you have the wrong mentality. If you're not willing to spend $4,000 to $6,000 to start your own business, to take control of your own life, to take the risk that few people are willing to do because they're afraid of losing a few $1,000s when your potential earning could be in the millions, could be in the six figures. Even for most people, making an extra 50 to 100 grand a year would be life-changing, and all it cost them up front was an initial investment of $4,000 to $6,000. And if you're afraid to do that, you don't deserve to be an entrepreneur, and you don't deserve to be wealthy, because you're not willing to take that chance that other people are. And they take the chance, and when it does work, when they put in the effort and the work, they blow up and they live the life that they want. And if you don't complain. So again, $4,000 to $6,000, that's what you need realistically. You heard it here, not maybe first, but if you haven't, then you've heard it first right here. Again, guys, it's been real, it's been fun, been real fun. I'm gonna go work out, get my juice on. Joe from the Profit Stack Marketing. Peace.